Yesterday there was a partial eclipse of the sun. It's a rare sight, and the next one won't be seen until the 21st century. Equally a rare sight overseas these days is an England cricket victory. But 2 weeks ago in Trinidad, that's exactly what happened. Today the fourth instalment of the tour gets underway here in Georgetown, Guyana. The country has strong colonial ties with Britain, and so too does the England cricket team in the shape of Mark Ramprakash, whose father is Guyanese, but who today reclaims his place in the England side. It's a day of note too for Mike Atherton, who leads England for the 50th time today, but who'll be concentrating more on the job at hand than increasing his own record.
Yeah, I mean, both sides will say if you lose here, you're still in the series, but obviously if you can win here, you go a large way towards getting the crucial advantage.
Another record breaker is Courtney Walsh, a seemingly tireless fast bowler, who received a special award this morning to mark his 100th Test match, a remarkable achievement for a fast bowler.
To play 100th Test match for the West Indies, to me, is a major milestone. To hang around for that long and to show, to share the comradeship with your players. And I've been around from '84 on the Clive Lloyd, and you still remember your first Test match as vivid as anything else. But to play 100th Test match, I think it's a special achievement, and I'm honoured to be able to do so.
Hello and welcome to the Border Cricket Ground in Guyana for highlights of the first day of the fourth Test between England and West Indies. Now, it's something of a local joke in these parts. At the moment you try and play cricket in Georgetown, which actually lies below sea level, the heavens open, it pours with rain, and the game is completely washed out. But in fact, it hasn't rained here for months. The ground is absolutely parched. There's a drought throughout Guyana, and that's given rise to a lot of speculation about the teams, and particularly the role that the spinners might play, and also the pitch, which looks very dry indeed. So without further ado, we'll join Michael Holding for his first impressions.
There has been a great deal of speculation about this pitch here at Border. Well, I've played here quite a few times, and it has always been pretty biased towards the batsmen. I don't think it will be the case this time. The surface looks a little bit different from what I'm accustomed to. Certainly, I haven't seen this much grass along the surface. It's not over the entire strip, no way. But there's enough grass here just to encourage the fast bowlers a bit. There are a few dry areas, though. There's a particular spot here that looks very dry and looks as if it could flake. This spot, if the ball pitches in it, will certainly disintegrate, but I don't see many spots like this. Although I think it will be good batting, I don't think it will be as biased as before, and I expect a result in this Test match.
Thank you, Michael. And having lost the toss 3 times so far, it was Lara's turn to win, and not surprisingly, he decided to bat first. Changes to both teams. This is how the West Indies line up. Ian Bishop returns for his first Test of the series, and SHIVNARINE, the 23-year-old leg spinner from Trinidad, comes in to make his debut. John Crawley has lost his place to Mark Ramprakash as England play 2 spinners, but with Russell keeping wicket, there's only room for 2 pace bowlers, with Headley getting the nod over Caddick. So in front of an expectant crowd, we join the action in the second over of the morning. Angus Fraser is bowling to Stuart Williams, and there are no runs on the board.
Well, there's problems here. Well, a real comedy of errors. The batsman completely misunderstood the call, and then there was an atrocious misfield from Robert Croft.
When Sherwin Campbell almost contributed to his own downfall here, the ball hit his bat and ricocheted to call it to Croft, and he could so easily have been run out if Croft had fielded that ball properly.
Steve Buckner back in action. Didn't stand in the 3rd Test match, back for this one. And his colleague is Darrell Hare, who we saw in the 2nd of the 2 Trinidad back-to-back matches. Have to be quick. Ended up being a good call.
Well, they certainly got home. Not too sure if that was too wise a decision to take, though. This angle will certainly let us know if he would have been safe. He would not have been. Umpire Steve Buckner again having a look on that pitch, the follow through of Dean Headley. Just making sure that the marks that he does make are within the 5-foot mark. He's allowed to trod within the 5-foot mark.
That's a terrific length. Both batsmen looking to get forward on this pitch. And once again, Steve Buckner not happy with this Headley follow-through. Now this is serious news for England because an official warning followed by another warning, and Headley's out of the attack, leaving England with dear old Gus Fraser to carry the brunt of the bowling.
Well, that seems to be the first official warning for Dean Headley.
Beautifully played. That'll race away over this scorched outfield for the first boundary of the match. Headley to Williams. That's pretty straight.
That is very straight, and again we see Stuart Williams playing across towards the mid-wicket region, but perhaps just a bit high.
There it is, it's gone down a fine leg, and it's gone over the top of Angus Fraser for 6. It's a very short boundary down there, and Stuart Williams has almost fallen into the trap.
I think he was saved by the size of the boundary, but certainly that wasn't a very controlled shot. Good bouncer. Could see Stuart Williams almost lowering his head as he played the shot, but of course it's not very far down there, and Angus Fraser just could not get up.
It's the perfect length. Neither of these batsmen are particularly tall. That's the spot to bowl at them.
And neither of them are really willing to come onto the front foot either. Sherwin Campbell not leaving his crease, both feet inside the batting crease. And again we can see at the top of this pitch, not as hard as it could be, a bit coming out again.
Edged, and it's carried to Graham Thorpe. He's grabbed it. Fraser's got the breakthrough again. And the West Indies lose their first wicket. They're 16 for 1. The ball going low to Graham Thorpe at first slip. He charges away in ecstasy at the ball having carried. I think he is as surprised as anybody that the ball got there. And Stuart Williams goes for 13. And the West Indies 16 for 1.
Well, that was a mistimed dive. The outfield is dry and quick. Tufnell just mistiming his dive. He'll come back for a third quite comfortably. So 3 more to Campbell. Another no ball. Now that was quick. Headley generating pace here, but in doing so, just overstepping the front crease. Well, here's a second warning here. Second warning from umpire Bucknor for Dean Headley running on the pitch. Atherton is going to be concerned here. He's only got 2 seam bowlers, and one of them, Dean Headley, has now been warned twice for running on the pitch. So 25 for 1. We see a change in bowling now, and it will be Mark Butcher. Just wide. You got to touch onto that, but off the pad. Tried to turn it fine. Butcher reckoned, well, did it hit the pad, did it hit the bat? There is the expression on his face, but umpire Darrell here reckons it's pad.
Well, I think this is probably bat, personally. Yeah, there's no doubting that. And not that far away from Jack Russell. It's almost off the face of the bat. Oh, and that is almost...
Oh, well done. Yeah, fabulous stuff from Headley. Did him for pace, and alarming bounce that surprised Campbell as well. The ball flying through to Jack Russell at chest height or higher, and Headley's got another breakthrough for England. He deserves it.
He's bowled some quite beautiful balls this morning, Dean Headley, at great pace, none quicker than this.
SHIVNARINE CHANDERPAUL is the new batsman for the West Indies. It's a pretty clever stroke, I'd say, from Lara. Dean Headley continues, and that's deflected as well. Suddenly a bit of momentum for the West Indies, 8 from 2 balls faced.
Edged and dropped. Alex Stewart, the man at second slip. Angus Fraser is very, very disappointed.
Well, it actually disturbed the top, that. Alex Stewart will be very disappointed with that. Takes a piece out the wicket. And Alex Stewart got there easily, and that has to go down. Really is quite a regulation catch.
Big shout. Not out, says Darrell Hare.
Pretty confident appeal. It's pitched up. Very hard to tell from that angle. Darrell Hare says straight away not out. Bat and pad very close together.
Full toss wide of Fraser. 4 runs. Croft, frustrated by the umpire's decision, just loses his concentration momentarily, and he's conceded the boundary.
Great shot. Don't bother running for that. Hit out of the middle of the bat and raced away through straight mid-off for 4. 68 for 2. Full again, and this will be 4, no question. Lara just looking to get on song. Steve, the cameraman, still up his tree, balancing precariously on that branch, along with quite a few locals. It's through cover point. A bad bounce, I think. But it's gone for 4. 4 off the over, 79 for 2, West Indies.
Well, that's a deliberate shot, and that's magnificently struck. That's gone a long way. That's a magnificent stroke from Lara. Almost into the Sandals pool.
This is the stroke of an outstanding batsman. Croft sees Lara coming down the track, bowls the ball a little bit quicker, but Lara's good enough to get underneath the ball and loft it over the boundary for 6. What a magnificent cricket stroke that was.
Oh, good contest going on here now. Lara seems as if he wants to go after Croft. Atherton encouraging his bowler. Well fielded to his wrong side, Tufnell, right-hand side. And the last 3 deliveries of that over do seem to indicate that Lara has now decided that he'll go after Croft.
Now it's time for a rest for Fraser, and Headley back into action. It's worth remembering that he's already had 2 official warnings for running on the pitch from Steve Buckner.
didn't quite hit the middle of the bat, and they might just have the legs on it to go all the way. Just making it, bouncing across the rugged outfield.
Just under an hour and a half for that 50 partnership.
I don't know if that's in his contract. Chris Deering is the marketing director of the West Indies Cricket Board of Control, responsible for things like the Sandals pool. Glorious stroke. That is magnificent. The prettiest shot in the book, the extra cover drive, and Lara plays it to perfection. Just over his head. Typical Lara stroke. All impudence. Kind of shot we saw from him so frequently during his 375.
It's a little short from Tufnell, and there's plenty of width for Chanderpaul to climb into it through the cover area.
Short and wide. Chanderpaul says thank you very much.
Oh, now shouts of catch it from everybody. All it is from Darrell Hare is the wave of the hand that says that's 4.
He's defeated Chanderpaul in the air, and that was a chance. Very hard chance that it is. It's low to his right hand, which is not his natural hand.
It's 50, and it's greeted with an appreciative roar. He's played well. It's not always been easy, but he looks in ominous form. He's hit more down the ground than we might expect. In fact, that mid-on area where 15 runs have come is a surprise, because prior to this tour, Lara has been more of a square wicket player. I don't think of him as someone who drives down the ground through mid-on. Extra cover, yes. Mid-wicket, yes. Very interesting to see how much straighter he's tried to drive the ball. And he's no slower on the pull stroke than he's ever been. What a stroke that is. What a cracking strike.
That really is a high-class shot from Brian Lara.
All beautifully played and placed.
Top quality cricket this from Chanderpaul.
No ball and swept away. Well, that was a bad delivery from Croft. It's a bad ball, and given the treatment, and that's his 50. So yet another half-century for Shivnarine Chanderpaul. It's the 16th time he's passed 50 in Test cricket, and the 3rd successive time here in Test at Border.
Edged, and another chance. Did that carry the second slip? I'm not sure it did.
Seems as if it did carry. Just about carried. Pretty difficult chance though. Just carried and then down to the ground.
That's a terrific shot. All the way over, long off for 6. You don't think of Chanderpaul as a particularly strong man, but an exquisite piece of timing. This time through extra cover. Big worry now for Michael Atherton and England. Fraser being taken apart. It's beautifully timed again. Tufnell charging after it. And successful this time. The umpire's just checking with the third umpire about the contact Tufnell's making with the ball. Very, very difficult to tell. And the third umpire, Peter Montfort, deciding that that's 4 runs.
Not batting badly at the moment. The captain is playing quite exquisitely. 4 more.
Well, what a way to bring up the 150 partnership.
With Fraser off the field, Robert Croft coming on now. And thumped away with precision and grace by Lara for 4 more.
Patience early on, but he really has entertained since lunch.
That's up and caught, brilliantly caught at extra cover by Graham Thorpe. Croft has got Lara, that's well bowled. Tossed it up, gave it a bit more air, and Lara fell into the trap. He's gone for 93.
Well, it's a brave piece of bowling. Thrown up outside the off stump. Brian Lara's gone for it, he's middled it, and Graham Thorpe has taken another low catch. If it seems to be whether he's at slip or extra cover, they come low to him. Brian Lara goes for an excellent 93, and the West Indies now 197 for 3.
Local hero Carl Hooper in at number 5, replacing his captain Brian Lara. A bit of pressure on Carl Hooper here, I would suggest, from Tufnell and Atherton. Well, not quite as much pressure from field placings as I thought, just a slip and a silly point. And Hooper away, first ball with a gift on his legs. Worked away through mid-wicket for just 2. Brings the 200 up for the West Indies. It's a classic Hooper stroke. Second ball, 6.
Just eased it over. Pure timing.
I don't know whether that carried Tony, but not for the first time today. The edge of the bat has been found and it hasn't stayed in the hand. Wow, now that's a bad miss. It's hard to keep this fella out of the game. Might wish today that he had been kept out of it with those catches. Gorgeous stroke. What a gorgeous stroke. Boy, they've enjoyed that here at Border in Georgetown. In the meantime, we can enjoy another example of the economy of effort in the game of SHIVNARINE CHANDERPAUL, and the way that he increasingly is becoming a top-notch test match batsman.
And he goes absolutely straight. Right over the top. Typical Carl Hooper shot. No wonder Croft's scratching his head.
This has always been the stroke of Hooper's that I think most characterises his natural talent. Have a look at the body shape here. Great footwork, and then he stays in the shot. Wonderful shape, balanced and over the ball. Doesn't try to hit it too hard. Almost just a little scoop, really.
carved away by Chanderpaul. Wide half volley off the last ball of the over. Takes Chanderpaul to 84 and the West Indies to 244 for 3. Lapped fine. A very fine sweep from Al Hooper. Goes for 4. Details of the 50 partnership. 84 to Chanderpaul, 31 to Hooper. Just 57 minutes. It's easily picked off by Hooper. And the 250 comes up for the West Indies. Full toss. That's beaten Headley. Chanderpaul onto 95. There's runs here, Headley's after it. Chanderpaul wants the 3rd, not so Hooper. Butcher's on it, he's back for the 2nd, and the border ground goes wild. Chanderpaul has made it. He made his debut against England on this ground 4 years ago, making 62. Now he's scored 100 against England on his home ground.
Well, a wonderful century by SHIVNARINE Chanderpaul. 3 more runs were added before the close, and that's the story of the day. West Indies were 38 for 2. Chanderpaul was dropped on 9. That would have been 56 for 3. But he and Lara put on 159. Chanderpaul's century is his first on his home ground, and he and Hooper will resume in the morning. Fraser and Headley toiled away, but how England lacked a 3rd seam bowler. Croft and Tufnell both found some spin. But it's been a long, hot day in the field for England. There's a new ball available first thing in the morning, of course, but I reckon they'll need to take those last 7 wickets for anything less than 100 if they're to stay in the match. Well, find out how they get on. Test match special on the air at 2 o'clock tomorrow on Radio 4 Longwave. And, of course, I'll have highlights of the 2nd day tomorrow evening. Until then, from us all here, good night.
Back to New York next here on BBC One for more from the 40th Grammy Awards.